seems to me that we can start. So, it seems to me that uh, you will enjoy this panel discussion. We are going to uh, discuss one of the most important topic. I think that mm, the most important topic right here because we are living in the age of digital transformation, and right now it's really important to understand how we should act according to these circumstances. So our topic is UAE in digital transformation, and let me introduce our speakers for today. So the first speaker is Betul Asad, UI manager at Product Madness. Please. Um, Dmitro Vorobyov, UI manager at Game Live. Alexander Grankin, CEO and co-founder of Scrambly. And Javier Castro, head of EMEA Gaming at Google. So, and my name is Serge. I represent Zork Agency here. So, let's start. The first question we're going to discuss. We are going to start from the general questions like current shape of the market. How has digital transformation impacted user acquisition strategies over the past decade? So, Javi, please.
Everyone, can you hear me? Yes? No? It's getting better now? Yeah?
Yeah, hear you.
Good. So what's the transformation of UA during the last decades? I think UA is probably like 10, 12 years old when we think about mobile, right? I started working at Google like 12 years ago. We didn't have any app promo solution back in the days. When we started having our first type of campaigns, we couldn't even track installs, right? It was everything about CPC, was everything about clicks. So if I think how things have evolved within the last 10 years, now we have very sophisticated LTV modeling. Now we're measuring like retention. Now we're measuring like ROAS, user engagement, a lot of like data-driven metrics that they were not even possible like 6, 7 years ago. So I think we're moving into first-party data, which is becoming key. And I think it's what the sector the industry is going to go through, right? Everyone is trying to protect their data. They're trying to get differentiated versus other competitors by having better tools, internal tools, by developing their own business intelligence solutions. So I think, in summary, what we are seeing is a better understanding of your users, a better understanding of the data that you are collecting, which is allowing everyone to have more user acquisition networks, right? There is now MMPs who can help you to really differentiate the data, building your own LTVs, building your own modeling tools. So I think we are just at the beginning on getting better understanding where the users are going. I know there are some challenges, we will talk about it later, which is privacy, which is iOS. But overall, I think if I need to summarize the last 10 years of UA, it's like we are moving into moment where we have a fully access and knowledge and understanding of our users' behavior, and that's something that we couldn't think of 6, 7 years ago.
Thank you. Speaking about the latest trends that shaped the gaming industry in 2024, so are there any surprises compared to the last year? For example, maybe you can highlight some of them. Alexander, it seems to me that you want to answer this question. You guys, yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
So
No. You should turn
You
on.
guys-
Yeah.
you gu-
Yeah.
You guys hear? No, I guess we're good. Yeah. Thanks everyone. My name is Alex. Super excited to be here. So over the last year or so, what we've seen as a big change in the user acquisition trends is, of course, the creator trends. UGC now gets a very significant part of the creative spend compared to before. Additionally, there are some upcoming formats that just up until recently they were not super, let's say, widespread across the different media mixes, like Rewarded, for example. At the same time, with the changes of macroeconomy, with the changes of user behavior, user spending patterns, everybody over the last few years is getting even more focused on deeper funnel performance, deeper funnel ROAS, and everybody cares more about the quality, about diversification of the channels, because with the macroeconomy changes, the CPC, CPM go up and down, so everybody's focused so much on making things profitable in a shorter period of time rather than looking for deep funnel ROAS. So those are one of the trends, and of course, automation of UA with the artificial intelligence. AI is one of the biggest things that everybody knows about, and this is like long story short. But I think that just to summarize that, it's quality and profit over quantity over volume, diversification. Those are the latest trends in my opinion. Do you want to add something, Vladimir?
Yeah, for sure. So again, I highly agree with what Alex said. So, but currently we are moving to a bit different sphere. Again, as far as previously the ads were crafted on the company side, and now we are having a really huge trend of the creatives and video being creating essentially on the go for users. And many platforms, essentially as Google now, they're offering the creatives which will be generated for the user needs and his preferences based on some particular things. And again, the emerging trend for the rewarded platforms, it's very seen for the last year or so. And depending on the way how it's introduced to the market, so users are essentially getting much better offers for what they can get, and they are more focused on particular gaming, specifically gaming titles that they can get through such apps. So I would mention it as a few bigger points for sure.
Okay, thank you. So, speaking about the strategies and approaches, and maybe you want to add some details regarding the things that which business should be aware of, because we need to take this into account that we need to avoid some things. So maybe Bitul, you want to add some maybe specific insights about the things that business should be aware of, because
I think businesses should be aware of I don't know using the new technology, about especially on the creative side. For example, we are using this tool, really great tool to test our creatives, because testing creatives can really be really challenging, because we are producing tons of creatives, and to test those, like, you need to spend a lot of money, and who wants to spend on a creative if they know or not, if they're gonna work or not. So we use this tool, we use this AI tool to test our creative with a really small amount of money, and they're also creating new creative using Gen AI. So I think businesses should also be aware of this Gen AI technology, because this is how you can improve your creative game. Because right now we only left especially after it, we only left creative. So iterations can make really big impact to your campaign. So I think using Gen AI and iterating your creatives can really change your game. So I think businesses should be aware of that. And also, I think businesses should be more invested testing on data, more deeper understanding of their own data. So yeah.
Mhm. Thank you. And what about the maybe some words about user privacy or something like that? So maybe Dima, you want to add some words about in this from this point of view, because it seems to me that right now these limitations we need to take this into account. What do you think about it?
Yeah, essentially for the last few years, we're having a very privacy-centric movements in the UA field, especially so in marketing overall. So we really used to have user-level identifiers since like 2000, so from the 2000s, and which evolved with the mobile devices with specific device ID and user ID. But now we no longer have these specific IDs, and what we are moving forward nowadays. Essentially, this is the higher level on which we depend on our user acquisition partners. So all the data now is stored on the side of companies who are providing the traffic. So essentially, we know like which users can perform some particular actions, and we at the same time are able to split and segment the audience based on their preferences of their past and future and projected future actions. So this is this is the way we are moving now. So with the privacy measures, we will no longer have an access to a very detailed data, unless some rewarded companies like we are who are dealing in a more precise way for acquiring users and dealing with user consents. So for the peculiarities of the business, but for other types and for most of the developers, we will face the fact that we will need to rely more on partner advertising solutions and the way how they redefine which ads will be shown to user. Yeah, probably.
We are talking about the classic user acquisition and considering influencer marketing like an additional channel of increasing the number of paying users. Do you guys find this channel efficient? What about influencer marketing in general? Should advertisers look in this way? What do you think, Sal? What do you think?
Yeah, so basically, everybody is looking for everybody is now looking for additional buckets of users that cannot be really reached through the standard bigger channels like Google, Facebook, DSPs, etc., like on the opener TV. So there are definitely segments of users that are unlocked, undiscovered, untapped by developers, by advertisers, and influencer marketing is one of the channels that might provide the reach of audiences that might not be easily reached through the standard channels. However, the biggest challenge of influencer marketing is that performance-wise, it's always different. It's always difficult to optimize towards metrics, and there are really few partners that could actually help achieving the deeper funnel results. Because even us as a small company, we are a startup. We are just 2 years in. We're bootstrapped. We are growing a lot, but at the same time, we're just looking at how our ROAS looks a lot. Even though we're testing influencer marketing because it allows us to get some users that we might not be able to get through Facebook, Google, or others, but it's very difficult to really predict and to keep track and achieve performance results. However, if you look at the overall perspective of your incrementality of all the channels, of how your organic looks, influencer marketing complements and also gives you a possibility to expose your app or your game towards audiences that just might not be aware of your brand initially. However, there are definitely certain things to consider beforehand on what kind of a targeting, what kind of like you need to take into consideration the audience of an influencer, of a creator, how this particular partner goes about the optimization towards your key performance indicators, whether it's shorter funnel metrics, volume, or deeper funnel performance, what kind of audiences you're gonna be need. So there are certain things to consider, but I believe that influencer marketing has become one of the let's say one of the important parts of your media mix, whether you are an app or a game, depending on your budget, capabilities. But yeah, I think it's a new trend that is gonna persist in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. So, Javi, it seems to me that you want to add some.
You want to say something else
yeah.
about the influencer?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've seen that some eyes were attracted to this point. I just wanted a bit to focus the discussion on this point. So
Okay.
probably all of us we were facing the influencers and this at that point, but essentially there may be some struggles and peculiarities. So as Alex already mentioned, so there is always the question of incrementality, and it's hard to measure essentially as far as say not all the influencers are using the tracking links or other stuff like click the link below, whatever. So we see that as a high incrementality for such results. But I mean, maybe a bit of practical experience we could share. So for my point, it was a struggle because it's really hard, especially when you have two different teams on site. So one is like from marketing, and which is responsible for doing higher appeal for a title and increasing the scale for essentially the page itself on the store. And there is another team who is responsible for user acquisition, and they cannot even split the kind of incremental result. How do you guys deal with it?
You know, there is. I have a friend of mine who actually has been helping us with the UA, and he says that the easiest thing to measure incrementality is just shut down your paid campaigns and look at your organic out the day after.
This is one of the most difficult questions for us to answer when you have a customer who is running 6 different ad networks campaigns on a country and you want to prove incrementality or what's the impact of your paid traffic in organic, right? Like, how do you prove that your paid campaigns are not eating some of the organics that you get on the Play Store? So I think that the best, or the only way we have found to prove or to test is just have one ad network there, activate it for a month on a specific market, then shut it down, see what the organic change is. Just to prove what is the organic impact on the positive side and on the negative side from an ad network. I know it's not ideal, but I think it's the only way to at least see on a specific market what could be the impact of an ad network on the organic.
It seems to me that it's really important to understand what you're doing and to set the right goals. And for example, Yedimas told that it's hard to track the results sometimes. And for example, in Zorka, we using a data-driven approach where we, before the start the campaign, we analyzing the data, we analyzing the influencers, we analyzing the exact audience, the presence of the audience on the exact channel, so to be able to understand which results it may give us in the future. So it depends on the goals, for example, because if you are setting the brand awareness goals, yeah, so everyone understand that it's might be different from company to company because everyone determine this on their own way. So it's like too long question to discuss, and it seems to me that we need to continue. So some words about privacy. It seems to me that you have wanted to add some words about trend in privacy. So it's like in user acquisition.
Privacy is just the beginning of privacy. It's only gonna get worse, or maybe not worse, more privacy, right? So we're gonna start seeing more privacy regulations in many more countries. I know Europe is leading, one of the few areas where we are leading on these industries on privacy and regulations, but things are gonna get more strict. In countries where you don't see privacy at the moment, in a couple of years we're gonna see more privacy. That's why we think about first-party data. I think I mentioned earlier, but the more you can control the data you have, the more you can make sure that you are compliant with that data, the easier it will be for you to scale and to be successful in the future. I think we are going through a lot of challenges on iOS, not only Google, but every other ad network is trying to do different ways to track, to modeling, to measure success of the campaigns that they provide, and I think it doesn't seem to be 100% accurate, right? You see most of the companies trying to build their own models to understand or figure out the profitability of each of the UA networks, and this is a privacy first issue, right? With all the changes that came back in iOS 14.5. So I think this is gonna get worse. We will come back with Google Android Sandbox at some point. I think a couple of years, don't worry, but that's also gonna bring more less granularity data, right? So you will need to rely more on modeling, you will need to understand better measurement, you will need to build your own ways to understand what users are more successful, what are the best ways for you to track them, and what are the best ways for you to retain them, right? So yeah, I think this is something we need to accept. I think privacy is good, right? It gives users more safety and security, but it's gonna make things for marketers a little bit harder. I think this is just the beginning, right? I don't want to talk about AI privacy because that's something that hasn't been open yet, but I'm sure it will also come in a couple of years. So yeah, it's going to be unfortunately one of the top topics for us in the next probably 5 to 10 years.
We're gonna discuss this topic on the next conference. So, talking about the ad networks, so maybe you guys can disclose us which ad networks you determine like the best networks for 2024.
I won't answer this question.
Maybe you, Dima, want to add some. Maybe Alex.
Let's do it as a discussion. So again,
Yes.
I think every one of us will have some priority list. We're sure about Javier's list.
Of course.
It will be straight to the point. But again, for me, it really depends on the sphere where you're acting. So for gaming market, probably we have a very nice list where you will see our company in one of the leading roles, and I will every time vote to try us, and you will see that it's worth of it. But still, we are having a pretty nice mix, which is not changing for quite a while with the biggest companies. One of them is Javier's one, and we are having the biggest social companies, which are still on the venue. So for me, this is probably the biggest one, and except a few exceptions, we don't have this mix changing heavily. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. So even though I can mention that you gotta try us for sure, maybe at some point. But what we're doing when it comes to the user acquisition for our own app is mostly a mix of the standard channels like Google, DSPs, video, SDKs, everything. However, what might be interesting is the additional value that you can be getting from alternative channels, and what those might be like pre-installs, for example, even though there are some certain challenges in terms of deep funnel performance. But what has been working out well for us is something that is not included into the main top 20 biggest channels in the world is, let's say, affiliate reach. I'm not talking about the affiliate marketing that was super widespread like 5-6 years ago. I'm talking about all the bundle of different networks claiming that they have like first-party owned and operated inventory that was inexistent 5-6 years ago. I'm talking about working with blogs, sites, reviews, etc. through companies like Impact and others. This has shown some quite nice results. However, it has challenges in terms of the volume and audience reach. But when it comes to the long funnel performance and the quality of the audience that you're getting, let's say, more into the future and how those audiences complement your incrementality, this has been one of the key findings that we've seen over the last couple of years.
So I am also biased here because I work with the programmatic channel, but like of course all the diversification is super important for your UA mix. But Facebook has, I don't know, sophisticated targeting, or TikTok has younger audience. But programmatic has the leverage of targeting really different data-driven targeting. And also, I feel like in the programmatic team, the sky is the limit. So, for example, I can test anything that I want. I can test the guys like the programmatic that I work with. But in the future, in the upcoming future, I feel like we will see more rewarded ads or like rewarded channels, and they're getting bigger and bigger every day. We will see their rising, and also as you mentioned, preloads are becoming again a thing. But the challenges are there because you cannot trust them. Like especially after, yeah, you cannot trust them. They can just give you empty traffic. Like you don't know it. Like after I don't know 6 months. So yeah, you cannot trust them. Yeah, I think can we trust them?
Do you guys want to add something?
No, brain cells. I don't think this is the area of my expertise because we're just testing them. We see some short funnel results, like short funnel metrics that are interesting. However, as you mentioned, that it's always a matter of how those users will actually progress and mature over time. But when it comes to the rewarded channels, I think it's one of the key trends over the last couple of years. And the rewarded channels has the unique reach that might not be easily achievable and reachable through the main channels, and also they're gonna give you, let's say, a possibility of getting the performance pretty much over the night compared to Moloko or other programmatic channels SDKs where you would be just, let's say, setting up for success for the future. In the meantime, burning hell lot of money. But rewarded channels, let's say, depending on what kind of channel this is, what kind of audience quality, where they get their users from. This might be a very nice additional value for any gaming developer. However, there are some certain gaming developers that might just be quite not really fitting for rewarded, but it's been one of the interesting channels nowadays, and especially since we do that. But yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Alex. Speaking about the technologies and tools, I want to highlight the really important topic like automation. What do you guys think about it? What role does automation play in UA today? Dima, do you want to add something?
Yeah, let's start with this topic probably.
Yeah,
I
because
would like
it's really important right
yeah,
now.
It will be really cool, so we would participate all together. So still, it's a more discussion rather than a solo speeches. So for me, again, on top of the scene, so again, we're having automation by default with the ad serving. So we are no longer building the waterfalls and picking up some bits we would like to. We are not picking essentially frequency capping, daily capping, whatsoever. So we are already on the place where all the things are done by the publishing partners. So we have a very limited control over the things, unfortunately, for the last years. And I'm a really big fan of things which became a very natural for the, again, last few years. So we are now considering the dashboards as something that is already, okay, usual. But when you're making a full dashboard with, I don't know, the Snowflake or something similar to it, so you are automating a lot of your daily work processes. So instead of putting manual reports per each partner or per each particular campaign time, you have a really cool dashboard which shows you the state for the particular day across all the channels and how are they evolving. So this is one part, and another part for me this is kind of the casual optimization that we are doing. So it's really good to take off these manual actions when you need to adjust bits once a few days by putting some custom rules. They are available on different platforms, including Google ones, as a kind of default options. But there are a lot of third-party tools which can automate your day-to-day activities, and you no longer need to make some silly actions which can be easily automated by some particular rules. What do you think about it?
Can I just add something? So a lot of companies talk about automation as a necessity for a successful user acquisition. However, what they might be just missing out on is the importance of getting your data right. Because automation in the first place cannot exist unless you have a data mess. Your data is basically widespread across a lot of different platforms. You don't have a single source of truth. You don't understand what the actual customer, what the actual user of value looks like, where they come from, etc. So the first thing, I don't think we rely too much on automation just because at this point of time our budgets might be limited. However, our first priority was to get our data right, to push all the events, to push all the data into one single place, and then to make sure that if this particular platform, if this particular piece of data tells that this user is going to convert, this user has this particular data touch points that indicate potential future success on different channels, this means that we are most likely to win because we trust our data, and this was the first priority. And our data, our user acquisition is closely tied to our product marketing, to our internal marketing, retention marketing, product analytics. So it's one piece, it's just one single thing. And we just, like product and marketing, they cannot be two different things. And we need to store the data, we need to process the data and make data-driven decisions based on the one single source of truth. And this, I think, a great base for future automation. And a lot of companies, they just don't get this right first.
Yeah, you want to add something regarding the automation?
No, I think I fully agree. I can just share the Google approach to automation. When we started having user acquisition campaigns back in 2014, we didn't have Google App campaigns. It was Google search campaigns where everyone manually need to upload keywords for each of the campaigns. We have Gmail campaigns, we have YouTube campaigns. And then as part of, I don't know if it's machine learning or automation, but now you have everything, all the inventory across one single campaign type, which really saves a lot of time for marketing teams to just focus on other things, right? Which is creatives, building the measurement tools to really make sure you can track and measure the data properly. So I think automation has allowed us to grow as a business, right? And I think I see a lot of smaller studios who used to run only campaigns with us, but now they're able to run campaigns with 7 different ad networks, right? Of course, MMPs has helped a lot and data measuring has improved, but I think automation is allowing to smaller studios to grow, to scale. Yeah, I think it's also a combination of measuring the data. I fully agree with you. I think automation is the result of many other things that has been happening in the industry, but it's one of the most beautiful things in my opinion because allow to scale things and allow to deliver way more better quality with less resources.
Thank you, Javi. Do you want to add something, Vito?
I completely agree with you, and I also remember this day because when Google announced that you need to open UGC campaigns from now on, search are gone. We were like, okay, we are doomed, okay, because not being able to do it yourself. Back then, we weren't trusting the machines that much. We were trusting ourselves. So, but after Google's UGC campaigns, we saw that we can use the machine for our benefit because we have limited amount of time. So I feel like these automations are giving our time back. But I also completely agree with you because in order to do some solid optimization for your campaigns, you need to have a solid data and you need to know which data that you can trust. And with these automations, all the tech integrations are super hard to know. And there's always some delays. You cannot do real-time optimization. It is really hard. So you need to learn how to live with it. You need to have a really good, data team to make that predictive analysis available for you. So yeah, I completely agree with that.
Thank you. So we guys discussed data and analytics technologies and tools. We discussed strategies and approaches. But it seems to me that it's time to talk about the engagement and retention, because this is the topic that we should highlight because for developers it's really important to increase the retention rate, and for developers it's really important to take this into account. So the first question regarding this topic is, how can developers create live in-game events and features that keep players engaged over the long term? So maybe Dima, you want to add some words about it?
Yeah, I like this topic in particular as far as I was working in the gaming companies for a while. So I spent my last 5 years inside the gaming companies as user acquisition managers in-house. So again, this is a topic which, again, both sides are always trying to push forward, because on one hand, this is like a chicken and an egg topic, because on one hand, the game itself should be really good and live events are focused on increasing the retention inside the game. But on the other hand, when we're speaking about acquiring new users, so if they will be good from the early beginning and they will be like a perfect match for the game, they will retain in the game for longer. And as a best combination which can occur, so when we are acquiring the right users who are getting the constant stream of new live events, which at the same time are increasing their life cycle and lifetime value in the apps. For me personally, the one that I love the most are the events connected to the parallel progression. Because in the free-to-play market, we are always facing the fact like, okay, on one hand we have to have the paywalls, otherwise we will not be able to generate money. And at the same time, paywalls are churning users from the game. So here comes the events with the parallel progression. So when user is either stuck to some paywall or he already on some kind of stage when he cannot get an immediate progress and get a dose of dopamine, but at the same time he or she will need to have some short-term event to gain something, to quickly defeat some castle, to collect some amount of coins, etc. So this is a type of events I personally like the most, because they're showing a pretty nice and incremental increase for everything. So users are retaining for more. If monetization is set up properly for such events, they're usually spending more because this is something completely new for them. And this is like my top prio. So what do you think, guys? What is the top prio live event for you if you could choose?
So essentially, for us, what we believe is we don't really look at how to engage users as a whole. We look into very deep hyper personalization techniques in a way that we collect a lot of user data. We understand where these users come from, what their demographics are, what their preferences are, and based on that, we create a hyper personalization engagement marketing strategy. And we have a different set of events for different segment of users, because what we saw is the reaction of users towards more general set of events or more general strategy of engagement and retention marketing. They don't really react in the most proactive way, the way we would expect. So in order for us to create a successful customer retention and engagement marketing strategy, we need to collect a lot of data, and we need to segment our events, we need to segment our way how we engage and interact with users, whether it's push notifications, email, in-app messaging, etc., based on the particular data touch points that we collect from them. And what our users tend to prefer is different rewards, different additional ways of actually getting them some dopamine at different touch points of their user journey. So this has been the key for us. Not what type of events, but what segment and what kind of hyper personalization we can use in our engagement strategy.
I mean, I have no as much experience as you guys on live events. What I can tell you is that we are seeing less and less new games being released on the stores. So what's going on is that most of the studios are trying to increase the user session, right, by doing more and more live ops, right? So I think this is one of the main practices that most of the studios are following. They use different solutions and different tools for this, but trying to retain users for a longer period of time is one of the priorities that most of the studios I'm working with are doing at the moment.
From my point of view, one of the most important parts of engagement and retention is building community around